evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. It'd be funny to do a poll sometime and ask people who live in Washington, D.C., have you ever met Joe Biden personally? And I bet a strikingly large percentage would say yes. Biden has been in Washington forever. How long? Here's some perspective. Joe Biden first ran for president more than 30 years ago. Didn't go well, to put it mildly. At the time, Biden was caught stealing details from another man's biography, Neil Kinnock's biography, and forced to drop out in a humiliating scandal. People who knew him, though, always thought he would try again for the presidency, and of course he is, though this year seems a pretty strange time to do it. It's hard, in fact, to imagine a candidate more out of step with the moment he's running. Biden is old and pale at a time when his party worships youth and diversity. Biden has spent decades cultivating a reputation, deserved or not, as a moderate at a time when his party is moving hard to the left. As of right now, though, Biden is still the frontrunner for the Democratic nomination, but it's not a comfortable fit. So what exactly is Joe Biden running on? Well, if you guessed ideas, have another beer. You've obviously had a few beers already, if you think that. No, Biden is not running on ideas. He's emphatically not an ideas man. Instead, Biden is running on electability, the notion that only he, only Joe Biden, can beat Donald Trump. We'll let Biden's new campaign ad explain. Watch.
We know in our bones this election is different. The stakes are higher, the threat more serious. We have to beat Donald Trump. And all the polls agree Joe Biden is the strongest Democrat to do the job. He'll restore the soul of the nation. Battered by an erratic, vicious, bullying president. Strong, steady, stable leadership. Biden, president.
Got that? Strong, steady, stable. Not doddering, flaky, weird. No, strong, steady, stable. That's Joe Biden's self-description. He's the most experienced candidate in the race, he often says. In fact, he's the only vice president in American history who served more than 2 full terms in office. And that's how he met the survivors of the Parkland shooting at the White House just last year, when the rest of us assumed that Mike Pence was the vice president. But no, watch.
I watched what happened when those kids from Parkland came up to see me when I was vice president. They went under the, and some of you covered it.
There you go. Pretty impressive. You thought that Pence was the VP. No, Biden was still the vice president, and none of us knew it. But it turns out there are a lot of things you didn't know about Joe Biden. For example, Biden's conventional biography, the one you can find on Wikipedia, claims he went from a private high school to college and then right to law school, where he graduated 76th in a class of 85 students. That's the Biden we thought we knew. What we didn't know was that while becoming an attorney, Biden was also working deep underground, literally underground, as a coal miner, streaked face and headlamp included. And that's why he coughs sometimes still. All these years later, mining just takes it out of a man. Listen to him explain.
Hope you won't hold it against me, but I am a hard coal miner. Anthracite coal, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Okay, that's where I was born and raised. And it's nice to be back in coal country.
Yeah, he's a coal miner. It's true. You should also know that Biden was also at various times a fireman, a hard-boiled homicide detective, a gold miner in the Yukon, and a wise old Indian chief who slayed many a bear in his day. Not your average politician, for sure. Needless to say, Biden was also a war hero. Of course he was. Not in his generation's war. Deferments kept Joe Biden out of Vietnam. No. As the oldest American soldier/U.S. senator serving in Iraq, braving relentless enemy fire to bring democracy to that benighted nation. Watch.
Number one, you take all the truths out. You better have helicopters ready to take those 3,000 civilians inside the green zone where I've been 7 times and shot at.
Yeah, he's been shot at. Others, we should tell you, remember that moment differently. They claim Biden was simply staying at a hotel in Iraq when a mortar exploded hundreds of yards away, a mortar that didn't even delay the breakfast buffet. But whatever. To Joe Biden, it was yet another death-defying moment in a long life as the world's most interesting senator. Listen to the time he nearly got killed by the Taliban.
If you want to know where al-Qaeda lives, you want to know where bin Laden is, come back to Afghanistan with me. Come back to the area where my helicopter was forced down with a 3-star general and 3 United States senators at 10,500 feet in the middle of those mountains. I can tell you where they are.
Now, once again, we must tell you there is some dispute about what actually happened. Other, possibly more factually reliable participants claim that Biden's helicopter landed because of a snowstorm, not because Osama bin Laden was personally trying to murder Biden. But don't tell Senator Biden that. Nor should you tell him that nobody can remember seeing him at all those civil rights sit-ins and demonstrations he claims to have led in the 1960s either. He and Martin Luther King, leaders of the movement. That's his story. He's got a million stories like that, and he's the hero of every single one of them. Take a seat and he'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, as you listen, that this man, this former coal miner and civil rights leader, is the single sanest person running for president as a Democrat this year. Meditate on that for a minute.